Welcome to Sleep Through History. This is a place to rest, nothing more. There is no story to follow, no detail you need to remember. You may drift whenever you're ready, and the room will continue without you. That is how it was designed. You're standing at the threshold of a scriptorium in a medieval monastery in the deep cold of a winter afternoon. The door before you is made of heavy oak, dark with age, and it has just been drawn open from the inside. The hinges are well oiled and make no sound. A breath of slightly warmer air moves outward to meet you where you stand, carrying with it the faint smell of tallow and something dry and faintly animal, the scent of vellum that has been worked by hand. You step forward, crossing from the cold corridor into the room itself. The scriptorium stretches out before you, long and vaulted, its stone ceiling curving overhead in a gentle arc. The stones are pale gray, smoothed by centuries, and they hold the curve without strain. Down the length of the room, wooden desks sit in 2 rows, spaced evenly, each one lit by a single tallow candle. The candles are the primary light here. They do not flicker much. The air inside is calm, undisturbed by draft or movement, and the small flames burn steadily in their iron holders. Each one casts a pool of amber light across the surface of its desk, illuminating the work laid out there. There are monks seated at some of the desks, 3, perhaps 4. You see them in profile, bent slightly forward over their work, their faces turned downward. They do not look up as you enter. Their presence is quiet and entirely unthreatening. They have been here for hours already, and this is simply the continuation of an ordinary afternoon. In medieval European monasteries, the scriptorium was the workshop where manuscripts were copied and illuminated by hand in silence over the course of months. The monks understood this rhythm. Their pace reflects it, unhurried and absorbed, complete in itself. Your eyes are drawn upward, toward the far end of the room. There, set high near the ceiling, is a single lancet window. It is narrow and tall, its glass pale and uneven. Through it comes a rectangle of soft, gray-white light, the diffuse glow of snow falling outside, and snow already settled on the ground beyond the walls. The light is even and gentle. It makes no shadows. It simply fills the upper part of the room with a luminous pallor that does not compete with the candles below, but rests above them, calm and constant. And then you hear it. From somewhere along the row of desks, a quill moves steadily across vellum. The sound is small and dry, a soft scratch, patient and unhurried. It resumes. It is the sound the room is built around. You move a few steps farther inside. Near the door in the corner, there is a desk with no one seated at it. The surface is smooth worn oak, pale where hands have rested over years of use. A stool sits beside it, unoccupied. There is space here, unclaimed and quiet. You may sit if you wish. No task is required of you. No one expects anything. The room simply continues as it always has. You lower yourself onto the stool. The wood is cool beneath you, solid and still. You rest your hands in your lap, and you feel the coarse weave of wool against your palms, and beneath it the softer give of linen. The desk before you is empty, its surface traced with the faint grain of oak. To your left, the nearest candle burns in its holder, the flame small and steady, casting a pool of warmth across the wood. Behind you, the door swings, almost shut. It does not latch, but it closes far enough that the cold is on the other side of it now. The corridor beyond is silent. The snow is falling outside, muffling the world. Inside, the scratch of the quill continues. The room continues, and that is enough. You are still here, standing near the wooden desk in the corner of the scriptorium. The room holds you without effort, and you find yourself letting your attention rest where it falls most naturally, on the desk surface just before you. It is oak, close-grained and smoothed by years of use, by the passage of hands that have worked here season after season. The wood is warm in color under the candle, amber and pale brown, with a faint sheen where hands have moved over it daily. The grain runs in long, even lines beneath that sheen, and the surface feels somehow both solid and gentle at once. You notice the candle nearest to you, set in a simple iron holder at the edge of the desk. The flame stands upright and burns with an even, low light. There is no draught here, no disturbance to trouble the air. Occasionally, the flame settles into an even smaller point before rising again, gently as if breathing. The tallow gives a soft warmth, nothing bright or insistent, just enough to hold back the shadows and illuminate the small circle of the desk before you. At the corner of the desk closest to you, an open inkwell sits waiting. It is ceramic, dark glazed, small enough to fit in the palm of a hand. Inside, The ink is still, black and motionless, its surface catching the light of the nearest candle as a single, steady point of amber reflection. The ink does not move. It rests there, contained and patient, ready for the next dip of the quill, but content to wait as long as necessary. You become aware of the weight of your own clothing. Coarse wool rests against your arms and shoulders. The fabric rough in the way that wool is when it has been woven for warmth rather than softness. The weight of it is familiar and grounding, something you have carried all day without thinking. Beneath the wool, the linen is softer, warmer, where your body has warmed it over hours of wear. The combination of textures, rough outside, smooth within, is steady and easy to inhabit, and you notice how it holds you in place without any effort on your part. The quill scratch continues somewhere along the row of desks, and you find you can hear it more clearly now. It moves in short strokes. A letter formed, lifted, formed again. Between strokes, a brief, then the next. The rhythm is not musical, but it is regular enough to rest inside, the way you might rest inside the sound of rain on a roof or the slow tick of a clock in another room. The sound does not ask anything of you. It simply continues. Through the high window set into the far wall, the pale light has not changed. The snow is still falling beyond the glass, or perhaps beyond the oiled linen stretched across the frame, which diffuses the light in the same way regardless. You cannot see the individual flakes from here, only the pale glow they bring, the way they seem to soften the world outside and make it quieter. Nothing from outside enters the room. The snow simply makes the outside quieter, which makes the inside quieter still, and you feel the stillness settling deeper around you. Another candle burns a few desks away, and in its small pool of light, you can see a monk's hands at work. The hand moves slowly down the page, the quill held at a shallow angle against the vellum. The strokes are deliberate, neither rushed nor hesitant. The hand does not hurry. When it reaches the end of a line, it lifts, moves back to the left, and begins again. This is something that has happened many hundreds of times today alone, and will happen hundreds more before the light fades completely. You remember, or perhaps you simply know, that medieval scribes often copied manuscripts from an exemplar, an original text positioned on a reading stand beside them. The work required sustained attention, but it was also a kind of meditation, a devotion practiced not in words spoken aloud, but in words passed slowly through the hand. The act of copying sacred texts was itself considered a form of prayer. The words moved through the eye to the hand, and in that passage they were absorbed, held, made part of the body's knowledge. The scratch of the quill continues, steady and even. The candles burn without flicker. The stone walls hold the cold at their edges, and the warmth gathers in small pockets near each flame. You are standing here, or perhaps you have taken a seat on one of the wooden stools. It hardly matters. The room holds you either way. The room continues, and that is enough. The room has settled around you now, and you have settled into it. You are seated in your quiet corner, and the desks stretch away in their patient rows. The monks continue their work without hurry. The light from the candles has not changed. Your breath has found its own rhythm, slow and even, matching the stillness that fills this vaulted space. The air moves gently around you, cool but not cold, carrying the scent of tallow and vellum. You notice how little there is to notice, how few things move. The inkwell on the desk before you remains as it was. The candle flame reflected in its surface has not moved. The candle itself is the same height it was, or very nearly so. The surface of the ink is perfectly still. It is one of the stillest things in the room, and the room is very still. You let your gaze rest on that dark surface, the way it holds the light without rippling, without changing. Black ink in a simple ceramic well, made from oak galls and iron salts and rainwater, mixed in batches that would last for weeks. The afternoon outside is advancing, though you would not know it by any sudden shift. The high window still admits its pale snow light, but the light has dimmed very slightly, not to darkness, just to a quieter gray, the kind of gray that comes when snow continues falling and the sky holds all the light it means to give. As the window light softens, the candles become more present. You notice their warmth more clearly now. The amber pools of light on the wooden desks deepen a little. The shadows between the desks grow softer at their edges. The whole room seems to gather itself inward, away from the cold outside, toward the small, steady flames. Your eyes wander to the walls. You have been in this room long enough now to see them properly. The stone is old, pale gray with veins of darker gray running through it. The blocks are dressed smooth, but not polished. If you were to reach out and touch the stone, it would be cold, but you do not need to touch it. It is not uncomfortable to look at. Where the candlelight reaches the wall, the stone holds a faint, warm tone, as though it has borrowed some small fraction of the amber glow. Further from the candles, the stone is simply the color of stone in shadow, gray and solid and very thick. These walls have stood for centuries. They will stand for centuries more. The scratch of the quill reaches you again. Somewhere along the row, a monk is writing. The sound is still even. It has not stopped. It will not stop for some time. You can hear it now without quite listening for it. It has become part of the air in the room. The way the sound of breathing becomes part of a room at night. It is simply there. No one in the room stirs. The monks are absorbed in their work, their hands moving only as much as the quill requires. The candle flames stand upright, undisturbed by any draft. The snow outside continues without sound. You are seated and still. The room holds this stillness without effort. It occurs to you in the quiet way that thoughts arrive when you're very still, that the vellum pages in use today are made from prepared animal skin, most often calf, which gave the finest grain. A single Bible might require the skin of hundreds of animals. It might require the labor of years. Holding a page of vellum meant holding something that had taken a very long time to become what it was. The monks understood this. They wrote slowly, each letter formed with care, each word given the time it needed. There was no hurry. There had never been any hurry. You rest in your corner, your body supported by the wood beneath you, your weight settled. The wool of your robe lies heavy over the soft linen beneath. Your hands rest in your lap. Your breathing continues, soft and slow. The room continues, and that is enough. The light from the window has grown softer still, a shade closer to dusk, though dusk is still far off. The candles hold their small territories of warmth. The ink in the well has not moved. The scratch of the quill persists, patient and sure. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to move or speak or shift your gaze. You are here in this room of stone and vellum and careful light. You are part of its stillness, and the stillness is deep. You rest here now in the corner where the warmth has gathered. The wool of your robe has settled around you, and the body beneath has warmed the fabric from within. The linen underneath is soft against your skin, familiar in the way that cloth becomes when it has been worn through many seasons. There is no need to shift or adjust. The weight is even across your shoulders, your back, your arms. The quill continues its work somewhere nearby. You hear the scratch of it moving across vellum, a soft sound that asks nothing of you. Short strokes, then a hort strokes again. The rhythm does not change. It moves in the same patient way it has been moving all along, steady and unremarkable, like breathing or the passage of time itself. The candles are still burning. Their amber light falls across the wooden desks in small, warm pools. The tallow gives off its quiet scent, animal and simple, mingling with the oak gall ink and the cool stone that holds the room together. You can smell the vellum too, faint and particular, the smell of something made by hand and meant to last. The high window remains where it has always been. You do not need to look at it to know it is there. The light it offers is pale and soft, the kind of light that snow gives back to the sky. It has not changed, or perhaps it has grown very slightly dimmer. Either way, the candles are enough. They hold the room in their small circles of warmth, and the shadows beyond them rest undisturbed. The inkwell is still open. You can see it if you let your gaze wander there, resting on the desk within reach of the quill. The surface of the ink is perfectly still. It catches the reflection of the nearest candle as a single point of amber light, calm and unmoving. The ceramic is smooth and cool to the touch, though you do not need to touch it now. It simply rests there, holding what it holds. The quill moves again. Scratch, scratch, then again. You do not need to follow the words being written. You do not need to know what they say or where they lead. The sound itself is enough. It continues whether or not you pay attention to it, percent and even, like the beating of your own heart somewhere deep inside your chest. The wool around you is warm now. It holds the heat your body has given it, and it gives that warmth back to you in turn. The fabric is coarse, but not rough, woven thick enough to keep the cold at bay. Beneath it, the linen lies smooth and soft. These layers rest against you without effort. You are held and you are warm. The room continues, and that is enough. The desk surface is worn smooth from years of use. The oak has lost its sharpness, rubbed gentle by the passage of hands and sleeves and the slow friction of daily work. It is solid beneath your forearms if you let them rest there. It asks nothing. It simply remains. The candle nearest to you burns with a small, steady flame. The light it gives does not flicker or dance. It holds its shape, amber and warm, casting no shadows that move. The tallow melts slowly, feeding the flame at the same quiet pace it has kept all afternoon. The quill scratches on. Short strokes, a breath. Short strokes again. The rhythm wraps around you, soft and undemanding. You can let it carry you if you wish, or you can let it fade into the background of the room. It does not mind. It will continue either way. The high window is still there, set into the stone. The snow is still falling beyond it, though you cannot see the individual flakes. You know it is there by the quality of the light, pale and diffuse, the kind that comes when the world outside is muffled and still. The glass is cold, but you are not near it. You are here where the warmth gathers. The inkwell reflects the candle. One small point of amber resting on the surface of the ink. The reflection does not waver. The ink does not move. It waits, patient and dark, for the quill to return to it. Your breath is slow and even. The air moves in and out of you without effort, cool as it enters, warmed as it leaves. The wool rises and falls gently with each breath. The linen beneath shifts only slightly. Everything is settled. The quill continues. Scratch, cratch. You do not need to count the strokes or measure the between them. They are simply here, part of the room, part of the stillness that holds you. The candles burn. The high window glows with snowlight. The inkwell holds its reflection. The wool holds its warmth. These are the things that are here. The room continues, and that is enough. The desk, the candle, the sound of the quill, the warmth of the wool, the scratch of vellum, the pale window, the amber light, the stillness, the warmth, the quiet that asks nothing. You do not need to follow the quill any longer. You do not need to watch the pages being filled or the candle flame as it holds its steady shape above the desk. These things continue, and they will continue whether you attend to them or not. The room knows how to be a scriptorium without your help. The stone walls hold the cold, and the candles offer their small warmth, and the afternoon light from the high window grows paler by degrees you need not measure. Your breath moves in and out, slow and even. There is no effort in it, no thought required. It matches the patience of the room itself, the way the vellum waits beneath the quill, the way the inkwell rests open and undisturbed. Nothing here asks anything of you. Nothing here has ever asked anything of you. The scratch of the quill softens now, not because it has stopped, but because it no longer needs to be heard directly. It is part of the room, the way the stone makes its own quiet, the way the wool of your robe holds warmth against your shoulders. It may have been there all along, before you arrived, before you noticed. A sound the scriptorium makes simply by being itself. It does not require you to listen. There is only warmth now and weight. The robe across your back and arms, heavy and soft. The desk beneath your hands, if your hands still rest there. The faint warmth near the candle, a small pocket of heat in the cool air. Your body rests in a still room. Nothing has changed. Nothing needs to change. The room continues, and that is enough. The thought arrives without emphasis, without weight of its own. It is simply true. The way the stone floor is cool, the way the vellum holds ink. The room continues. You rest within it. That is all there is, and all there needs to be. Your breath moves through you, slow and steady, in and then out, in and then out again. The rhythm is your own, and it is also the rhythm of the room, the unhurried patience of winter afternoon in a place built for quiet work. There is nothing to do. There has never been anything to do here but rest and breathe and let the hours hold themselves. Somewhere in the warm dark, the quill still moves. You do not need to picture it. You do not need to imagine the hand that holds it or the page beneath. It is there, patient and even, making its small sound, and that is enough to know. The candle burns. Its flame is steady, a point of amber light in the growing dimness. It does not flicker. It simply burns the way it was made to burn, the tallow giving itself to warmth and light without haste. The window holds its pale glow, snowlight, reflected and soft, neither bright nor fading, simply present. The room continues around it. The stone walls, the wooden desks, the vellum and ink, the wool and linen, all of it resting in its place. Your body is warm where it needs to be warm. Your breath is slow. The scratch of the quill is very far away now, part of the quiet, patient, and even, and requiring nothing. The room goes on. The candle burns. The quill moves somewhere in the warm dark, and you rest.